Hi, Verlassen here from Nasby Magazine with another episode of Chart Watch. This is week 48 of the UK album charts, and I'll be looking at a couple of artists and splitting down the sales between CD, vinyl, downloads and cassettes, and then also looking at a few new releases that I think I'm going to be interested in reviewing and I think will be interested to you, my viewers and readers and listeners. Now, Chart Watch is all about celebrating the physical sales, the CDs, the vinyl, and as I said, the cassettes. And it doesn't matter whether it's kind of music you're into or not. This show, which is weekly, is to show you that physical sales are still important to the overall sales makeup for the music industry. So let's dive in and have a look and see what's been occurring. Okay, number one this week is Stormzy, who's gone straight to number one with This Is What I Mean. Now, most number ones that I cover on here go straight in, and many of them go almost straight out again. But before I go on to an album that's just remained there all the time, let's break down Stormzy and look at the numbers. Now, because we had a number one from a rap artist recently, and it was nearly all streaming, which was the first outlying stat really like that, when everything that gets to number one in the UK album charts is primarily driven by physical sales. What will be the breakdown for Stormzy's album, I wonder? Well, here it is. Stormzy sold 27,874 copies of his new album, which got him to number one. Of that, 13,977, could call that 14k, couldn't you really, were CDs. And 3,316 were vinyl, 1,139 were cassettes, 1,488 were digital downloads, and 7,954, call it 8,000, were the equivalent streams for sales of the album. So CDs were the highest component of the physical sales for Stormzy's album, 13,977 compared with 3,316 vinyl albums. So well done, Stormzy, getting straight into number one then. That's a fantastic performance there for physical media. Number two is our Cliff Richard, releasing his Christmas with Cliff set, and he must have been very keen to see if he could get to number one. He almost did it, to be honest. He wasn't far behind. 24,358 sales, which in other weeks would have definitely got him to number one. Now, the breakdown of Cliff's releases, which I have, is 21,976, you could call that 22k really, were CDs. And 1,142 were vinyl albums, and 1,090 were digital downloads, no cassettes, and 150 equivalent streams. So Cliff's audience by physical, okay, completely. But what is interesting, isn't it? Literally 24,500. 22,000 were CD. Okay. Now, I just want to reiterate again that I am completely a big fan of vinyl and CD. The reason why I do this is because the news and the analysis and all that always goes on about vinyl sales, and it's always been pushed for vinyl sales. But I just always want to illustrate that the CD is doing very, very well, and I've got some other stats which absolutely focus on this as well. Okay, because about a year ago, when I started thinking about doing a weekly show like this, I remember Warner Brothers was saying they were going to make a decision in the new year about what their commitment was to the CD format, and since then everybody's commitment to the CD format is back on track. So, what else is going on in the UK album charts? Taylor Swift is at number 3. Now, this is interesting because most go straight in and straight out, and Taylor Swift has just remained there. She's gone platinum now with well over 300,000 sales. And let's be honest, the marketing behind this album, to say thank you to Lee for lending me this, has been superb, because for the same price as literally just £5 more, Lee was able to go directly to the artist and actually get a signed copy of the album, and the album also comes with a colour booklet with all the lyrics on. And this is a new phenomenon. I hope it is a new phenomenon, because this is obviously a new album that's still in the charts. It's still literally beating everything else that comes up behind it. And I'm going to be reviewing from a different end of the spectrum the Jimi Hendrix live at the LA Fillmore, which also comes with a booklet. And it's really, really, I think, exciting that vinyl albums are now coming with colour booklets like CDs did. So the whole package is becoming more luxurious and more tactile, if you like. So other things in there, you've got The Cure Wish, which is a reissue, has gone straight in at number 9, which is sales of 6,541. And as I said, Taylor Swift has got sales of 22,000 to stay at number 3. So they're still really, really healthy. She could bounce back to number 1 at any point. Bruce Springsteen has gone down to, where's he gone? He's gone to number 5, sales of 7,000. Elton John has got sales of 6,515, and he's at number 10. And the other interesting thing is that last week, The Miracle by Queen had gone right up into the chart, which I think it got to number 6 last week. It's gone. It has gone. It's not even in the top 75. That literally is a show of like a fan base buying it all on the same time, gone. And that's I think that's quite an interesting statistic, because straight at number 74 is Tom Petty with Live at the Fillmore, which was 1,760 sales. So obviously Queen was less than that to drop out of the top 75. Fleetwood Mac's Rumours album has gone up 20 places, obviously with the very sad passing of Christine McVie, and I imagine that next week that album is going to be even higher. Rumours is always in the charts, as I said in my tribute, and obviously also the best of Fleetwood Mac is also zooming back up the charts. And I think we're seeing a change in streaming, but I think the physical sales of Rumours is going to be high. And this is, as I've said before, a good thing, that Rumours is selling not to people of an older age group who've already got it several times. It's selling to new music listeners who just love the music. It's seen as a classic. As Lee said to me last week, he said, it's one of those classics you have to have. And it's great that, young music fans are seeing that these are albums that will look good collectively in a collection. It's far more healthier, actually, than it used to be, thinking, this is an album from the 80s, this is an album from the 70s or the 90s or the 2010s. It's just music. It's just music. And that's the great thing about streaming, is it's made everything the same. I mean the same in a good way. Streaming is the radio without the DJ interrupting the last 30 seconds of the track when you were trying to work out and press record. Now you can put together your own playlist and listen, check things out, and then buy the CD or the vinyl, or both, to support new music and the artists and the publishers and the people that create this wonderful art form that keeps us ticking over and looks after our mental and physical health. Fantastic. Anyway, where was I? The other thing I wanted to mention was, now that's what I call Music 113. And the reason why I meant to mention this is because it's a compilation album. And you would think technically that compilation albums shouldn't exist because of streaming. Because you can do that yourself, can't you? Put together a playlist and press go. But no, they really do sell well. And it's number 1 on the compilation chart. And it's sold 8,458 copies. How many of those didn't go on CD? You're right, nearly all of them. 7,742 were on CD. So the compilation album is CD centric. It would be, wouldn't it? Because that's why you'd be buying it to stick it on and just play. But the great news this week, I think this is fantastic news. I really do. Overall album sales are up 5.55% on week at 2,228,280. Now, and where are we? Physical product accounts for, ready? 500 and 51,812 combination of CDs and vinyl. That's 24.76% of the total sales of the market. Now, I've been doing this and we've been hovering around 10, 12, 15%. I know these things go up and down. I know that. Depends what big names are coming out, but that's almost 25% of the market is physical sales. No one's going to ignore that. You know, it's still niche. I like being niche. It's like being a rebel, a warrior on the edge of time, isn't it? You're kind of like, you know, doing it to the man. I think it's good. It's good being niche, and it's good to think that, you know, as more and more people, and I've said this in my monthly update elsewhere, that I was in a record shop. There's 2 record shops on Saturday where I live, and they were packed. And the average age, I would say, to people browsing through the racks was probably 22 to 28, and it was packed. People buying records, buying CDs, and it's fantastic, absolutely. And anyway, where should we go next? Reviews. Now, the big news in the rock and roll world, of course, is Metallica, who announced their new album. And it's called 72 Seasons, and it'll arrive on April the 14th, 2023. Plenty of advance notice. It's on the band's own label, produced by Greg Fieldman and Hetfield and Urich, and clocking at over 77 minutes. It's 12 tracks, and it's the band's first collection of new material since 2016, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So it's been a while. So the anticipation here is massive. Speaking on the concept of the album title, James says 72 seasons, the first 18 years of our lives that form our true or false selves. Good point. The concept that we were told who we are by our parents, a possible pigeonholing around what kind of personality we are. I think the most interesting part of this is the continued study of these core beliefs and how it affects our perception of the world today. Much of our adult experience is reenactment of reaction to these childhood experiences. Prisoners of childhood or breaking free from those bondages we carry. That's pretty deep, is it not? But as long as it's accompanied by bone-crunching riffage, I think it's going to do really, really well. So, what else have I got? I have a few things. There's quite a few things coming out. Repertoire record label. They do fantastic releases. They're based, I believe, in Germany. There's Renaissance live at the Fillmore, Magna Carta, When All Is Said and Done, 3 CD and DVD. Maggie Bell live at the Rainbow. Maggie Bell live in Boston, 75. Stone the Crows live, a 4 CD set coming out. Stone the Crows live at the BBC. Colosseum live in Germany, live in 1971. Robin Track, a compilation from 1987 to 2013. That looks good. Steamhammer, Ride On. The Yardbirds, live and rare. And also there's another Colosseum. There's a lot of Colosseum and Stone and the Crows coming out, which is fantastic. And that's at live at the BBC as well. Catatonia, Sky Void on the Stars, CD to LP. They're currently on tour with Soen. And I love both of those bands. What a pairing that is. That really is cool. Absolutely fantastic. BGO Records have got Fastway, the A's and B's. Great band as well. And Riverside, one of my favourite bands of all time, really are. Identity, CD, 2LP, white, yellow, blue, 2LPs, bonuses, 2 CD book, everything you can throw a stick at. Join their fan club. It's absolutely fantastic. It really, really is. And what else do we have? We have from the reissue area, Heavy Metal Kids, 1974 to 76, 3 CD on Cherry Red Records. Carly Simon live at the Grand Central. As I mentioned, Magna Carta. Trapeze from Glenn Hughes, as I pause there to think about the enormity of this, because I'm hoping this is going to be an absolute gem of a box set from Cherry Red. Don't Stop the Music, 6 CDs, which will be Trapeze, Medusa, You're the Music, We're Just the Band, etc. Live in Dallas, 1973. Stephen Wolf, I've mentioned last week, that's good. You Are a Heap, Chaos and Colour. I'm going to interview Mick Box to talk about that album in early January 2023. Fantastic. Blackmore's Night, Shadow of the Moon, I mentioned before. That's good as well. Is there anything else I think I want to mention? No, I think that'll do for this week. I think that is absolutely everything I want to talk about at this point. Now, before you disappear, make sure if you want to look at album reviews, you check out this playlist, which looks at all the album reviews, or if you want to look at box sets, that's also there as well. And make sure you subscribe, and I shall see you next week for Chart Watch, the next instalment. And remember, check in during the week because some fantastic album reviews and box set reviews coming up. Some I can't even mention properly yet, but it's going to be a fantastic month here at Now Spinning. Keep spinning those records. Remember, music is the healer, and I shall see you very, very soon.